Well, hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yeah, let's go. Welcome back to the big show. Happy Monday. Kicking off the show today, Jean-Jacques Taylor, Dallas sports media legend Jean-Jacques Taylor. Keep it going for JJT. Welcome back to the James Show. You previewed the Super Bowl with me on Friday. How about we review it now? Your thoughts on the game itself?
Oh, it turned into a blowout far sooner than anticipated. But, Kansas City was really never in the game, man. Everything seemed so hard for them early and not nearly as hard for Philadelphia. And it seemed to me very early on that they were going to need something extraordinary to pull it off because they couldn't control the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball. And when you can't do that, man, you get, as Emmitt Smith would say, blowed out.
Yeah, so 40-22, it wasn't that close. There was just a couple of cosmetic points at the end there. So really, you're right, man. The Chiefs just got blown out. But, as a supporter as I am of Patrick Mahomes, we're from the same hometown. Also, you can't help but be happy for Jalen Hurts after all he's been through. I mean, starting with the Tua game, through Oklahoma, through the previous Super Bowl, and he's also a Texas boy. So I'm at least glad I have someone to be happy for.
Well, I like Jalen Hurts because he's been through a lot of adversity in his career, whether we're talking about Alabama getting benched and then OU not winning a championship there and then losing in the Super Bowl. And the thing I like about him is his demeanor is consistent. He doesn't really change a lot. It's not too high. It's not too low. He's steady about his business, and he was rewarded. And, the way the team is set up and the way the general manager goes after talent, they will be set up to repeat, and then we can see if they're the next dynasty in the National Football League. But Jalen Hurts is a good dude, man.
Why does it bother me so much, Jean-Jacques Taylor, to see Kellen Moore over there with the clipboard and the headphones winning a Super Bowl with the Eagles logo on his head?
I don't know. I mean, we ran Kellen out of here on a rail, so, he's gone. Let's not act like now you want him back. Maybe he needed to get essentially fired from Dallas to find himself, because in Dallas, the knock was he'll never run the ball. He's too pass happy. And here we are in Philadelphia where he committed to the run and got Saquon Barkley 25 carries, even though he only gained 57 yards and got him 31 touches overall. So he called a nice game, and then just as you thought they were about to try to kill some clock with Saquon, they went play action, went deep for the touchdown to Devontae Smith, and that basically ended whatever faint hope there was for Kansas City to come back. So good for him, and he'll soon be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Well, who would have guessed that the Philadelphia Eagles would have put up 40 points and Saquon Barkley didn't get a touchdown?
I can't say I would have thought that, but, going into the game, Steve Spagnuolo did what every good football coach would do, which is Saquon can't beat us. If Saquon goes off, we have no chance. We have nothing if he goes off. So let's focus on him. And, hey, Jalen Hurts is not the best passer, and so let's force him to beat us. Now, if he beats us, then it just is what it is. And that's what happened. Jalen Hurts, I think, was 17 of 22, 211 yards, ran 11 times for another 72 yards, was cool, was calm, and he was easily the best player on the field last night.
Agreed. So let's talk about basketball now. What's with this Mark Cuban rumor? He tried to stop the trade with Luka, and Nico didn't listen to him. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that true?
I don't. Here's my take. It's irrelevant. Once you sold the team, you don't get to stop nothing. If you wanted to make sure Luka was here long term, keep the team. Because here's the deal: Cuban, and one of the things people like about Cuban, he's a true fan of basketball. He's a true fan of the Mavericks. He has an emotional connection to the Mavericks. He sold the team, 73% of it, to a dude who has no emotional connection to the Mavericks, who is not a basketball guy, who's a businessman, who sees the team as an investment. So once you sold it to that guy who doesn't have any emotional investment in the team, you can't be all surprised when they make moves that show they don't really have an emotional investment because if you did, you never would have traded Luka because you'd have known what the backlash would be, what the fallout would be. But as a businessman, you're about the bottom line.
Yeah,
so you made the deal.
It's kind of hard to feel sorry for Cuban when he got $4 billion or whatever it was to.
Yeah, I like Cubes. Yeah, but he's got no say anymore. He's got no juice. He's got no power. So the fact that you tried to appeal to Nico's like, Nico's like, hey man, I like you, but I don't answer you no more. Patrick Dumont is my boss.
All right, so let's talk about Anthony Davis. He got injured his first game here in Dallas, and some people were expecting this. I think they're a little bit pessimistic, but is this already proven to be a bad trade if Anthony's hurt?
Well, I think here's the deal. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but if you read the things coming out of L.A., initially they thought he'd be out past the All-Star break, and so it's probably, to me, a case of he was feeling better, wasn't quite right, but I feel good enough to play. I want to, the fans are going crazy. Let me see if I can show them a little bit of what I got and why, it could work out for us. And so maybe he rushed himself back a little bit and ended up straining an abductor because he was compensating for his abdominal strain. But the bottom line is he's only averaged 60 games this season in his career. NBA season is 82 games. And so he's been hurt a lot. He's a fantastic player when he's available. He just hasn't always been available.
John-Jacques Taylor, where do we find your work outside of WBAP?
You can always check me out at the JJTmediagroup.com.
All right, thank you very much. Dallas sports media legend John-Jacques Taylor on the James Show again. All right, we sent a reporter out to the Mavs protest over the weekend. You'll hear some of that coming up later on the show. Also, I'm going to play you some highlights, not from the game yesterday, but from some of the media circus around the game. So we'll cover it. But before you anti-sports people, whatever you want to call yourself, get turned off, I'm going to open a lane for you too. You can call in and tell me what was your favorite part of the game, or did you like the halftime show, or what was your favorite commercial. But also, there were quite a few people who reached out or said that they're not watching the game because we talked about this on Friday's show, and they've just sworn off sports altogether. And I feel like I'm sort of drifting that way as I get older, and I almost feel like someone's going to talk me into it one day, just disregarding sports altogether, like the whole bread and circuses thing. So you can call in and try and talk me out of sports if you want to, too. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Your thoughts on the Super Bowl, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I'm not being real specific about it. It could even be anti-Super Bowl. You could even call in and tell me why you didn't watch the Super Bowl, or how you used to watch the Super Bowl every year, but you stopped and Colin Kaepernick started taking a knee, or whatever your story is. Talk about it, because we did some posts over the weekend on the social media feeds for WBAP right here next to our studios. We're in the American Airlines Center, basically, in the little plaza where you walk up. We're in those offices there. And so we can look out our window and we can see a protest, and we can go down there and talk to the people. And when we do that, like if I take a picture of the protest and put it up, you can go through it, go look at the ones we did this weekend. There's going to be maybe 1 out of 8 or maybe 1 out of 10 people that are like, sports are stupid. No one cares about basketball. Stick with the news. This is dumb. No one cares. And well, apparently you care enough to put a post about it. If you truly didn't care, you would skip over it. You wouldn't even pause. So it's not that you think sports are irrelevant. At some point, sports have rubbed you the wrong way. At some point, sports have turned you off. That sounds like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, probably the more likely scenario. You guys that gripe about basketball, like you take it personal. I feel like you used to like sports and something happened and now you don't. So you have some sort of low-level PTSD or something. But if you're one of those guys, I would like to talk to you. 800-288-9227. You used to be a sports fan. You're not a sports fan. Why not? Let's talk about that. Another thing I want to bring up, because I think I'm going to be different than pretty much everyone else you'll hear on WBAP today. This is Jack over on Facebook. I'm trying to put it up on the screen, but it's a real long message. He says, the halftime show was a disgrace. The NFL has become so woke, it'll do anything to get viewers. I was in the industry. Rap and hip hop is not a legitimate genre of music. It's a cultural phenomenon, just like the old beatnik cafes back in the day. The NFL needs to get quality entertainment and stop bowing down to a specific demographic. They need to get out of politics. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much disagree with all that, but a lot softer than you think. I don't think you're an idiot, but I think the NFL is actually less woke than it was last year. In fact, this is the first Super Bowl since 2021 where we haven't had end racism in the end zone. Did you see they changed the messaging? It became less woke. So if you do have, and there's no doubt the NFL is taking the wrong side of a lot of political issues as of late, but I think they've gotten better. I think they've kind of gotten the message. Now, if you're saying hip hop's not a legitimate genre of music, well, that's just a subjective opinion. I can't talk you out of that. I like the halftime show. I don't think it was a disgrace. I think a lot of people are underwhelmed when they see hip hop because it just doesn't. I'm a fan, but it does not lend itself well to live performances. You don't have a band behind you. You can't see the guy playing guitar. You can't see the guy playing drums. And look, there's all kinds of little nuance there. It's like, well, if something's cool, if they're playing live instruments, then when the Red Hot Chili Peppers were on like 5 years ago and they didn't even have their instruments plugged in, does that make it a disgrace because they weren't actually playing live instruments? All those pop stars, most of them are lip syncing most of the time, whether it's Lady Gaga or Beyonce or whoever. So how is that? That's not really that different than hip hop. They're all faking it at the halftime Super Bowl, or usually they're faking it. I don't think Prince was faking it. Didn't he do like In the Rain? So there's some exceptions, but hip hop's not even the worst. The worst genre of music that in a live setting would have to be dance music, techno, EDM, electronic dance music, stuff you hear. When you're up way too late and you go to the wrong club and everything's got black light on it, that stuff. Dude, do you ever go to a live concert for someone like that? Like I went to a Marshmello concert last year and I like his music, but I mean, he's just sitting behind a table hitting buttons. I mean, there's nothing going on. He's not even talking. Like you can't even see his face. He has the big dumb marshmallow on his head the whole time. Like there was nothing going on. I was like, this is the least concert I've ever been to. And he doesn't just play a CD. He made a mix, and I guess he's just running around and playing it for you in different cities. But even if he's like mixing it on the spot, they're using software like Serato, and they're not even really beat matching anymore. There's almost no skill to that. But the thing I liked about the halftime show is Kendrick Lamar sang a song about how hip hop is filled with pedophiles. That last song he did, They Not Like Us, the one that Kamala quoted, what was that at the BET Awards? That's a song about how Drake's a pedophile. And you had 70,000 people singing, trying to strike a chord. It's probably A minor. Dude, that was hilarious. I ate that up. Because, look, it's also like, how far can you take a diss track? How far can you take a beef? How about calling someone a pedophile at halftime of the Super Bowl? That's as far as you can take a squabble like that. So I appreciate it. I understand a lot of people aren't impressed. And I got to tell you, I'm not impressed by hip hop as a live product, but I still like the Super Bowl. It was all right. What was the other one? Oh, yeah. NFL needs to get quality entertainment, stop bowing down to a specific demographic. Well, dude, if they're going to bow down to any demographic, that's the one. 70% of their players are black. So I'm not surprised that they get a little extra attention when it comes to halftime shows. Plus, it's just popular music. That was like the number one song of 2024, wasn't it? That or like, I think $1 Million Baby or something. But no, I actually liked it. So call me crazy. The other thing I wanted to show you that's kind of counter to this, Jack, is did you see what Patrick Mahomes, the first thing he tweeted, it was like after midnight last night. I don't know if he crushed a couple of Coors Lights, but he says on Twitter/X, I appreciated all the love and support from Chiefs Kingdom. That's their fan base. I let y'all down today. I will always continue to work and try and learn and be better for it. Want to give thanks to God for every opportunity he has given me. We will be back. Okay, so we thank God. Well, right after the Super Bowl, Aaron Andrews goes and puts a microphone in front of the winning quarterback's face, Jalen Hurts. First guy he gives credit to. Little fella also named God.
You got back, and now you're a champion. How does that feel?
God is good. He's greater than all the highs and the lows. And I think, personally myself, I've just been able to use every experience and learn from it. The good, the bad, all of it, using it as fuel to pursue my own greatness. And I think I couldn't do any of these things without the guys around me. We had a special group this year. We were able to learn from the past and get some nice new pieces and get over that hump.
Both of the quarterbacks. Thank God. I mean, that's not awesome, but it's progress, right? Sandra Denton, you're on WBAP. Your thoughts on the Super Bowl last night?
Last year and this year was one of the first years I watched it. I'm a big, huge Steelers fan, but I stopped watching when they got really woke.
Gross.
And a little bit last year was kind of not so much. I mean, they had started getting back to normal, and this year I felt it was really normal. And I just want to say I actually enjoyed the Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
Thank you.
Rap is music. It's awesome. I love all kinds of music. I listen to country. I listen to hip-hop. I took my husband to the opera this year because I listened to it, too. I just think we should be a little bit more open to music.
I am amused by people who have really strong opinions on, like, I'll ask you, Sandra, as a DJ, a guy who doesn't play any instruments, can't read music, but he can mix a beat in front of a party. Is he a musician?
No.
I see.
I don't think so.
Then how do you call hip-hop music? Because that's where their music comes from.
Yeah, but it's like they write, a lot of them write their own lyrics, or
so then they're poets.
They put a different, yeah. You know,
okay, but not musicians.
A little bit more poetry, but not. Okay, I'll give you that.
I love it.
I
I got to run, Sandra. Appreciate it. And I'm not saying that's my position. I'm just demonstrating how that's a difficult subject. You know, it's subjective. How can you come up with a solid definition on that? Your thoughts, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, sports fans. Did you have fun with Prize Picks last night? We won't talk about how old Parker did here. I just thought Saquon Barkley would get in the end zone. No big deal. But hey, now there's basketball, so we can turn around and we can have the same fun that we added to the football season with basketball. They got the All-Star break coming up, and so you can score a couple of lineups before then. Just go on the Prize Picks app, get a lineup of 2 to 6 players. You look at their statistics, and you pick more or less. And they do kind of interesting things, like for LeBron tonight. I believe he has a 40. Is he going to... If you add up his points and his rebounds and his assists, will it be more than 40? More or less? It's a bunch of fun stuff like that. Or you can pick a single statistic, but a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you can turn a little money into a little bit more money. Use promo code WBAP to get $50 with your first $5 play. That's right. I'll give you money to play with. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code WBAP. I can keep this job. I got kids that need to go to college. But also, it's $50 with your first $5 play. Prize Picks, run your game. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. So over the weekend, they had a bit of a protest on Saturday about the Mavs trading Luka away to the Lakers. And I was kind of baffled by the response of a lot of people who chimed in and said no one cares. Well, obviously you care. You would just pass it up if it really meant nothing to you. So some of you people are anti-sports, which, fine, be anti-sports. I'm not faulting you. I'm thinking maybe I should be anti-sports, actually. Because you've heard the old adage, if we paid half as much attention to what our government's doing as we did to our favorite football team, this place would be the Jetsons by now, or whatever analogous paraphrasing you want to use of that. But there's a point to be made for that. All these people who are out there ticked about the Mavericks, ticked about a basketball team trading a good player for a player that's not quite as good. Can they name who their congressional representative is? Can they even name who the mayor of Dallas is? Could they name the vice president right now? And listen, you listen to WBAP, so you probably know the answer to all those questions. But you've never been a guy out with the microphone in the street. Just go. You should do that sometime. Go down to Deep Ellum on a Saturday and catch some people that are just walking from their parking spot to whichever bar they're going to, and ask them if they know who the vice president is. You will be surprised that it might be more than half of the country at any given time, if you just put a microphone in front of their face, can't tell you who the vice president is. I know you're thinking, James, you're just saying crazy things to be sensational on the radio. I promise you, man, people do not. There's about 40% of this country that has no idea what's going on. Nothing like they can't see 3 feet in front of themselves. They can't see past their phone, really. But are you one of those people? Because I think I'm sort of sliding into that. I've actually ditched all sports but football at this point, and there's like 10 different reasons for that. One of the things I hear often is, I don't like the NFL, but I like college football. It's still pure and the kids they're not just a bunch of spoiled millionaires. They're playing the game for the right reasons. I disagree. That's not what college football is anymore. I mean, that might be what it is at the Division II and Division III level, but D1, especially now that they have the ability to make money, it's just as compromised and silly. But I used to pay attention to basketball, and I used to even try and pay attention to hockey and baseball a little bit when I was a kid. But, it took too much time. I was doing other things. I was chasing my career. I had side projects. I like to play music or actually go out and actually play sports and not watch sports. And so that's another thing I hear. But I guess generally what I'm asking is, should sports get less attention from the media and society as a whole? Does our society put too much of an importance on sports? Now, James, not me, another James, he sent me a Facebook message. He said, I quit caring about sports mainly from playing high school football for 4 years. I prefer to be playing instead of just watching. I shared that. There one of the things that was special about sports and especially football when you're a little kid is these guys are doing things you can't do. These guys are just these great Adonis athletes that if you got on the field and you took a hit like that, it would probably snap your neck and you would die. But these days, I probably outweigh all the cornerbacks in the NFL. I mean, not put together, but I don't know. It did kind of lose some of that magic. It did kind of lose some of that Olympic god awestruck feeling as a kid when you became an adult. And now these kids, technically I'm old enough to be Patrick Mahomes' dad. I think we're like 17 years apart. And considering, I'm from Bugtossel, that's kind of when we start having kids out there. Some of us. Most of them are my cousins, but you get the point. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. All right, stick with me. Man, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. First, coming up, after the break, you're going to hear a replay of Governor Abbott, the governor of the great state of Texas, on the WBAP morning show, saying some things that I think you will find are important. You'll hear that next. We have my friend Jimmy Fela coming back on. He's on our sister station, KLIF, and you've probably seen him on Fox News all over the place. He has the weekend show now on Fox News that he's hosting by himself. We'll get all caught up with him. He's coming back to the James Show at 4:05. And then at 4:30, we're playing Dead or Alive for 2 tickets to see Brooks and Dunn. So if you can't stick around for the rest of the show, come back, check out the podcast. Got a lot of good stuff lined up for you. I got to tell you about, where's my little liner here? Sorry about that. Kansas, that's who it is. Kansas is one of the contests I'm supposed to tell you about. They're going to be at the Pavilion Toyota Music Factory July 20th with 38 Special and Dave Mason. But we're doing the ticket giveaway. You text the word Kansas to our number, 800-288-9227. That'll enter you in the contest to win a pair of tickets to see Kansas. You can either type in Kansas the band or the state. Either one works. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. So there was a protest that was happening, and it was, I dare call it a protest because I don't think anybody that was in the plaza on Saturday that was upset about the Mavs trading away Luka Doncic thinks that Nico or anyone in the Mavs organization is going to see that protest and be like, oh my goodness, I didn't know y'all are so upset. Well, I take it all back. Let's undo it. You can have Anthony Davis back. We'll get Luka back. I don't think they really thought they were making an impact on whether or not the decision stood. I think they all understood that this was a done deal. But it's also interesting to see that if they got time, they're going to go out and let them know they're not happy with said deal, as is their right. Hey, it's a free country, free speech. I don't mind them. They're not blocking the roads. They're not blocking a bridge. They're not blocking the entrance to the airport. So if they're just going to mill around here in front of the American Airlines Center, no harm, no foul, you're allowed to have a negative opinion. I was kind of surprised at the people who, whenever you post something like that, they feel the need to poop all over it. I guess like once you abandon sports, or if you're never a sports fan to begin with, do you just look down on sports fans? Like, do you just think they're all idiots? Because look, I don't care enough about it to go waste my Saturday protesting it, but I do a lot of dumb stuff too. I mean, I played Foursquare with my kids for like 2 hours straight this weekend. It wasn't very productive either. I watch a lot of dumb stuff on my phone. I've watched 8 seasons of the television show Suits, and that's pretty dumb. So I'm not dissing anybody who participated, and I don't think less of them. I'm just interested in hearing the rationale behind why they're so upset. So I sent the producer down there. Garrett Harris went down there with the microphone and talked to a few of them. I'm going to start with this group. There was 3 in this first group, 3 ladies.
So how do you guys feel about the trading of Luka Doncic to the Lakers?
Awful, horrible, disgruntled.
Betrayed.
Betrayed
is the big word.
It's a direct betrayal of the entire city.
What message would you guys want to give to Nico Harrison?
You know, we're not a fan base that's just going to sit around and let a new ownership come and take over and ruin the culture that we've had for decades. You know, like, we're rooted in loyalty. Like, that's like the word of the Mavs is loyalty. We had Dirk, we had Luka, and now I feel like it got ripped away from us.
Yeah.
They say loyalty never fades away. It's on the statue over there, but we definitely feel like Nico came in and, like she said, ripped that away from us. And honestly, Luka deserved better, and he deserved better here.
Is there a trade of Luka that, in any of y'all's opinions, would have been worth it?
No.
Truly no.
No. Dirk's championship was so important to us because it was about the journey and it was about how Dirk got there, kind of with no superstar help and just with the guys that he had. And we had Luka. We didn't even have a season of Luka and Kyrie together for more than one season. We went to the finals last year and they ripped away all of our joy, just took it away.
Yeah, and he did it in the nastiest way possible, too. He didn't even shop Luka around. Like, we never know what would have happened with this team.
Do you guys think that this trade was done as a way to tank the team so they can move it to Vegas?
That's the only logical explanation that I can think of, truly.
I almost do believe the conspiracies, you know? Yeah, at first, whenever it was first mentioned, I was like, that's insane. Like, they would never take the team out of Dallas. But if you lose the entire fan support, you know, that's step number 1. None of it makes sense. You don't just have a coffee with the Lakers GM and decide you're going to sell the franchise player to one of our biggest rivals in the West. You don't even shop him around. Something about it just doesn't make sense.
Well, see, I like him a lot more now that I hear from him. And I think one interesting point that was made there is when she said loyalty never fades away, she was saying that because if you come out here to the American Airlines Center, when you're walking up the plaza, like if I was going to work, I have to walk up this plaza between these 2 giant statues. On the left is Mike Modano, the Stars legend that got us our only Stanley Cup back in 99, wasn't it? 2000, something like that. I don't know. I actually paid attention to hockey back then. And then on the right side is a giant statue of Dirk Nowitzki. And he's doing his signature move, the old fadeaway there. And while he's in the fadeaway pose with the ball above his hands, on the pedestal, on the pedestal, it says loyalty never fades away. Oh, see, while he's doing the fadeaway jumper and loyalty never fades away. And that was sort of a hallmark of Dirk Nowitzki. Never got traded, spent his entire career here. I think technically wasn't he drafted by like the Bucks, and then we got him like a preseason trade. So, you know, he never left, and he endured in the Mavericks franchise even when they didn't have a good team. They went to the finals twice, but a lot of those seasons were just dog water. And he didn't go do the thing that was really popular for the last 10, 15 years, and that's go make a super team where LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh all decide that we're going to go to Miami together. And then he and Kyrie and Clay team up, and we're going to go to the Cavs together. And then a whole bunch of people decide that we're going to go to the Golden State Warriors together. It'll be Steph Curry and Kevin Durant's going to join us. And there was no super teams. He stayed here and he won the hard way anyway. And I think a lot of people were expecting that from Luka. Here we get some kind of awkward, socially weird European guy that has a funny accent. But my God, this weirdo is so good at basketball. We can't help but love him. And so some good points were made by the protesters there. This other one comes from a young lady named Cassidy. She was at the protest on Saturday. This was her comments.
Cassidy, how do you feel about Luka being traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers?
I mean, I think everyone was just in shock. It feels like we kind of lost the heart of the team, but I love the guys that are on the team still, and I know that they're going to do amazing. So I'm excited to still watch our boys.
And what message would you want to relay to Nico?
To Nico, I mean, it seems like it's just all business for him, which I guess it is, but there's fans that love our team. So, yeah. It's kind of sad.
Is there a trade of Luka that, in your opinion, would be worth it?
I think Luka should have ended his career with the Mavs.
And do you think this trade was done to maybe tank the team and move them to Vegas?
Yes, absolutely I do.
See, a lot of people are buying into that. Now, I don't buy into that because if they want to have gambling in Vegas, they already have gambling in Vegas. They don't need to move a team there. And you could probably get like an easier team to move there, like a Memphis or something from a smaller market. I think the Mavs may be pretty well calcified here. But that's going to do it for our show. Lainey Wilson is on tour. She's going to be at Dickies Arena September 19th. For tickets and information, go to livenation.com. But it's one of the contests that we're running for you right now. If you want a chance to get in the contest to win Lainey Wilson tickets, text the word WORLD, because it's her Whirlwind World Tour. Text WORLD to 800-288-9227 for a chance to win. WORLD, WORLD, to 800-288-9227. 9227. All right, that's going to do it for the James Show. Stick around. Mark Levin's coming up next. If you need to hear more from me, go check out the James Show podcast. I'm going to go put it online. I prefer you find it on the WBAP app or WBAP.com if you're listening on a desktop. But I understand that you probably listen to podcasts somewhere else, and whatever app you're already on, whether it's Spotify or the one that rhymes with pie chart or just the old Apple podcast app. Look for The James Show. Like, follow, share, learn it, love it, live it. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.